Episode 175, Deer Bite. When Serena thought she was about to be suffocated, he released her. Laying in his arms, Serena panted.
You know, I'm so happy.
His deep voice and warm breath disarmed her. In his arms, Serena asked, "What are you happy about?" Jake did not answer, but gazed at her with his black eyes glistening in excitement and joy. His look made Serena blush, and looked away. She asked the question that was on her mind. "Isn't Lila at your house in Barton Hills?" Jake narrowed his eyes and asked,
How did you know?
"I saw that you went to visit her." Visiting Lila? It was more than a month ago. Jake squinted at her and suddenly had an epiphany as he connected the dots.
That's why you sentenced me to death?
Pressure suddenly emanated from his body, making her freeze. Shrinking back, she felt guilty for some reason.
So you fought with me and slapped me because you thought that I went to visit Lila Cox? Because of that, you think her baby is really mine, right?
Yes, he was right. All of it. But why did she feel so guilty when hearing him out? He was the one who had erred, so why would she feel this way? As if she were the guilty one. She looked up at him and said, "Isn't that true?" Jake gazed at her deeply and suddenly bit on her neck. Serena cringed and struggled hard, exclaiming, "Jake, let go!" Hearing that, he started to kiss her on her neck. His warm lips felt ticklish on her smooth skin. She shuddered and weakness took over her. She propped her up with his thighs, making her look at him.
Why did you have all these ideas? I told you that it's not mine, but I did lock Lila up. I have also transferred the house in Barton Hill to her in order to confuse Michael Cox. Otherwise, why do you think they just figured out about her disappearance?
As he said that, he had moved away from her neck and whispered into her ear. Serena's breath quickened as she felt ticklish.
The reason I locked her up is that I need to let her give birth to the child in order to prove my innocence. To do amniocentesis, the pregnant woman must be sober and obedient. Lila jumps when hearing the word and does not want to do it again. Without the DNA test, I cannot prove my innocence. The last DNA test was forged by Stephen Wrong. He has admitted it himself. However, he's not willing to recover the data for me. So, this is the only method I have. I can only prove my innocence and make you and my family believe me when she gives birth to the child. That's when I will take you to Ireland. How about that?
He could not wait any more. The surprise he had prepared for her was absolutely unprecedented. Shuddering, Serena felt weak. Jake chuckled and sucked on her earlobe. She looked up at him, her eyes glazed. He had a subtle smile in his eyes. This woman was so sensitive. Ireland? Wedding?
Yes, wedding.
Didn't you say that you have forgotten?
I didn't mean it.
Her eyes teared up and she began to sob. He covered her face with his hands and wiped her tears away.
Don't cry. Our family is still waiting for us to join them for dinner.
Serena pursed her lips and more tears fell down her cheeks. Did you mean everything you said?
Why would I lie to you?
I thought you loved Lila Cox. Jake wiped her face dry and looked displeased.
Now that is the biggest insult you can give yourself.
Serena couldn't help chuckling. Biggest insult to herself. She had never discovered this humorous side of her husband. Seeing Serena chuckling, Jake warned her softly.
Don't cry anymore. Grandpa will scold me if he sees it.
Then he looked at her with puppy eyes. She smiled even wider and gave him a little push. He had a rare smile on his face as he poked her face with his finger.
Why are you such a crybaby?
No, I'm not. She rarely cried in front of other people. For some reason, she could not help herself whenever it came to him.
All right, you're not.
She pouted and mumbled. Well, that's the truth. Looking up, she saw his smiling eyes and tugged his sleeve, whispering, So you have never touched Lila?
No,
he said seriously.
If I ever felt anything for her, you would not have been in the picture.
That was 100% honest. Serena knew that, but she still felt a bit upset. Pushing him aside, she opened the door and wanted to go out. Jake put an arm around her neck and whispered,
So, don't doubt me in the future. Your man is very hurt.
His deep, attractive voice made her heart skip a beat. Your man. The phrase sounded fantastic. She blushed and asked, Are you a child, Mr. Robinson?
If you say so, Mrs. Robinson.
It was less than an inch between their nose tips. Serena stared at him and suddenly bit on his lip. She said seriously, Don't lie to me again.
I won't.
If I find out about it, it will not work no matter what you say.
You lied to me once, and I lied to you once. So now we are even.
Serena was dazed for a moment, and then she thought of the incident which made Henry Miller end up at the hospital. I was afraid that you would be mad. Hearing that, he mimicked her tone and said,
I was afraid that you would be worried.
She was speechless, so she pouted and moved his hand away. We should go out now. They're all waiting for us.
All right.
Jake took her hand and then opened the door, walking out with her side by side. The moment they appeared in the living room, everyone looked at them. Hey, why are my cousin's lips swollen? Said the voice of a child. Everyone laughed. Jake said calmly,
They were bitten by a deer.